10 things you must know about the dowry or al-mahr in Islam, part 5. In part 1, be sure to watch it. I talked about the why give the mahr. In part 2, I talked about what the mahr should be. In part 3, I talked about the minimum, the recommended, the maximum. And then in part 4, I talked about the average or mahrul mithl, which is typically received mahr. And in this part 5, I will talk about when the mahr should be paid. So if you have not watched any of those previous parts, please be sure to watch them because you will not be able to understand everything without it. Okay, so when should the dower be paid? The mahr can be paid in full at the time of the performance of the nikah, the agreement, which is a great idea to pay it off completely at that point. But it can also be paid in part when you do the nikah and the rest later if both spouses agree. And it can be delayed entirely, completely, but only if the bride agrees. However, this is neither recommended nor required. So there are two terms that you must understand when talking about the mahr. Immediate is called muqaddam, and that's the part of the mahr that's paid immediately. Delayed is called mu'akhar, and that's the part of the mahr that will be paid later. Here are some examples. Let's say he says, I can do $1,000 right now at the time of the execution of the nikah, the marital agreement, and I will pay $4,000 in 5 years. That's mu'akhar. Great. If that's what she agrees to, if the wife agrees, if the bride agrees, then that's it. It's her right. She doesn't have to agree to this if she doesn't want to. What if he says, I'll pay 1,000 now and $1,000 every year for 4 years? Great. If she agrees, it's good. If she does not agree, it's not good. It's not acceptable. What if he says, I can't pay anything right now. I'm gonna do zero now, but I'll pay 5,000 in 5 years. It's halal if she agrees, but not recommended. What if he says 1 ounce of pure gold coin muqaddam, I will pay it immediately, and another ounce in about 10 years or in 10 years, muakhar. She agrees, good to go. Important notes, it is highly recommended that the mahr be paid, even if partially, even if part of the mahr is paid, before the consummation takes place. Consummation means they come together, they're alone together, and they make love. Consummation means to make love for the first time. So before they consummate, it's highly recommended, but not absolutely 100% required, highly recommended to pay at least something. Any unpaid mahr is a debt on him. If he dies, it will be taken from his wealth before and given to her, before the rest will be given to his inheritors as part of Islamic laws of inheritance. Okay. If she dies before it is paid in full, any unpaid part will be inherited by her inheritors. If the immediate mahr has not been paid, then she reserves the right to refuse sex, refuse seclusion, which is to be alone with him. She reserves the right to refuse to move into his home or travel with him. Moreover, she also reserves the right to move out and live with her family. If she, let's say she already moved in, but immediate dower has not been paid, and so and that was the understanding that it was supposed to be paid. She can move out. She also has the option to obtain an Islamic court order that allows her to borrow money on his behalf to cover the immediate dower. These are all legal options available to her. It does not mean she has to do all of this. These are legal options for her to exercise if she thinks it is helpful. The prenuptial agreement, which I encourage everyone to sign if you're living in a non-Islamic country or in a country that does not recognize Islamic family laws or does not implement them, then sign a prenuptial agreement, especially if you're living in the West, with Muslim attorneys, and they will make sure that she gets the mahr. The mahr should be mentioned in the prenuptial agreement, and her maintenance, her nafaqah, her food, clothing, housing, basic necessities, needs are legally recognized and enforceable. These two things really help the wife to In case if there's a problem, there's a disagreement, then these things have to be legally recognized and enforceable. And prenuptial agreement has many details, which I'll talk about later, inshallah, in another lesson. It's on page 288 of this textbook. And wife's maintenance, there are more details than what I've mentioned. It's all detailed on page 97. Let's now talk about the payment terms for the delayed dower or al-mu'akhar. It is permissible to pay the mahr later if the bride agrees freely without any pressure or coercion. If she does not agree to any um, if she does not agree to making it late, then she has the right. She owns the dower. She can do whatever she wants. She does not have to agree to these conditions. Here are some suggested guidelines. She does not have to agree to any conditions that she does not like. Here are some suggested guidelines for payment terms. Make the due date or schedule reasonable and specific, not vague or ever changing. It is advisable not to exceed 10 years, but it is permissible. It's halal to make it longer than 10 years. It is highly recommended that at least a partial payment be paid before the consummation. I already mentioned this before. I'm saying it again because it's very important that he paid something. It is makruh. Makruh means discouraged, disliked, detested, or hated to delay the entire mahr altogether. But it's halal. It's permissible if she agrees. What if they both agree that the mu'akhar, delayed mahr, is paid only if he divorces her or either one dies? Some people do that in some cultures. That's the understanding. Some scholars allow it. Fine, you can do that. While others say, no, don't do it. So because there's a difference of opinion, you can choose either one, whichever makes sense to you. My personal advice is not to do this unless you have a very, very good reason to do so. And as a reminder, any unpaid dower is a debt. If he dies, it will be taken from his wealth and given to her, and the rest will be given to his inheritors as per Islamic laws of inheritance. And if she dies, the unpaid part will be inherited by her inheritors. So mahr is a serious thing. There are some unacceptable conditions. Oh, it's only on paper just to show off so people can say, wow, she got a really high mahr. Or people can say, wow, look how generous he is. If you write down anything on paper in front of witnesses, then you have to pay it. There's no such thing as just on paper. And what if they say it will be paid if he wins the lottery? Lottery is haram, okay, is gambling. And so that condition is haram. Any invalid conditions do not nullify the mahr. The mahr is still due. Document it. Make sure the mahr agreement is documented, witnessed, and signed by all. If necessary, do an audio video. Again, I emphasize the prenuptial agreement is the best way for her to ensure that her mahr and her maintenance are legally recognized and enforceable if you're living in a country that does not have Islamic family laws. The prenuptial agreement also protects his rights, financial rights. So prenuptial agreement is good for both of them. That's it for this. Inshallah, next time we'll talk about half dower and amenity payment. This has been another lesson from my textbook, The Rules of Love, Marital Success Guidebook, based on Quran, Sunnah, Fiqh, and Psychology. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, share, and follow. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.